Remington 700 has been a designated marksman rifle, both with military and police all over the world. And also with a lot of guys that really like to do a lot of tactical shooting, precision shooting, long range, varmint hunting, you name it. You know, the Remington is a great base for that rifle. And in 308, it's really effective. And it's a very popular rifle system. The Remington 700 was introduced in 1962. And during that time, it was really popular with hunters and then became very popular with military and police units as a really strong, very accurate rifle. And is still being used today by both the Marine Corps and the Army, and I'm sure the Navy and the Air Force. But many police units all over the world use the Remington 700 action. With the new Hogue overmold stock that goes on this rifle in particular, it's a really comfortable, very good looking rifle. And I've been wanting one of these for a good while. I had one of the older Remington 700s that was one of the sniper grade rifles and had it for a number of years, traded it off like, you know, you do so many different things that you regret. And so I was really glad to get one of these. One of the big things about this particular rifle in Remington, over the past, since 2006 to 2014, their trigger systems have been recalled. The rifle would actually fire without the trigger being pulled. This one was under recall. And I have added a Timney 517 3.5 pound trigger in this rifle in lieu of sending it back to Remington and waiting and all that. And I'm very glad I did, because the Timney triggers are excellent anyway. And I've got a whole installation video that I'm going to be uploading to show you that. And right here, Remington Model 700 AAC SD. And the AAC is actually the company that makes suppressors. It's kind of a collaboration deal. And one of the things that differentiates that model is that it is threaded. Now here I have a muzzle brake or a compensator on here. This is a head down compensator. I went ahead and added it on because when I bought the rifle it didn't have the thread protector. So I went ahead and added that. But this is made for your standard threads for your suppressors. But the AAC SD has the heavy varmint profile barrel, and that goes with the 1 in 10 twist. That is a tactical rifling. Most of your 700s in 308 are 1 in 12. The 1 in 10 accommodates heavier grain bullets, stabilizes them, and are more accurate. And so that's where we're getting the 1 in 10 twist. It does have a 20-inch barrel, and you can see it's one of the heavy barrels. It is a matte blued finish, actually more of a steel gray. It does come with the Hogue overmold stock, which I really like the stock system. It is so comfortable. One of the big things about it is it's aluminum pillar bedded. That is really supposed to help accuracy. It is a free float system, and it is in the ghillie green. So this color is a pretty cool color. Here we have pebbled texturing toward the pistol grip and right up here at the forearm. So it gives you some real nice texturing. Also, there is a sling swivel. Also a sling swivel here at the rear and a really nice, ample, very soft recoil pad. I mean, there is a lot of cushioning in this recoil pad. Very smooth action. I mean, just really nice. And the fixed magazine holds 4 rounds. You load them here at the top. There are magazines that you can get, are detachable box magazines. And then if you want to let loose, right down here in front of the trigger guard, push it, and then it releases them. The follower is really nice, metal floor plate. Pops in. Doesn't restrain the bolt at all. You have your safety right here. It's just really accessible with your thumb. Forward to fire, bring it back for safe. That does not lock the bolt. Now to release the bolt, there's a little lever right in front of the trigger. Push that down and the bolt comes right out. Take this little ledge in your bolt, place it in a piece of metal or something that just captures it, and then pull it back. And now you'll reveal a little slot. You take a coin, put it in that slot, and that's going to hold your bolt into place, and then just start turning. Now you can get to your firing pin spring, and you can keep that clean. And of course you can clean out your bolt as well. When you're done, go ahead and return your bolt. Get it on that metal piece, pull, release the coin. Just make sure it snaps into place. Then you can just return your bolt. Back in business. Of course, the Remington 700 has no sights, but it does have points that have been drilled and tapped for your scope mount. And of course, this rifle is made really for optics. And there's a number of different type mounts that go on here. This is one of the EGW tactical scope mounts. This is a really good mounting system. Now, as far as the free float stock, anything that's going to touch the barrel is going to affect accuracy. Here you can see this is pillar bedded, and the dollar does go all the way through. Now, because it has been reported that the stock does touch the barrel in certain cases when pressure's put on the stock, Hogue really has received a black eye for that. One of the things about this stock is, yes, it's made by Hogue, but it was made under Remington specifications. To keep the price down to around the $650, $700 range, Remington had to cut a few corners with that. Because of that, again, the stock does have some issues. Now, here is the interior of the stock. As you can see, it has fiberglass, reinforced fiberglass, and then the molded rubber over the top of it. This is a fairly decent stock, but if you're really wanting to get really long ranges, you're probably going to have to go with something a little better. In fact, I'm going to replace this stock after we do the initial shooting with one of the full bedded blocks by Hogue. And it's really the way that Hogue intended it. But now here is the full bedding block by Hogue. And this is a much stronger stock. You can see the aluminum blocks here and here, the aluminum rod that goes down the front. So this is a much more accurate stock system. The full bedding block stock runs $299 on the Hogue website. The standard pillar bed stock runs $169. So you're getting a budget stock and the rifle, and you know what? It'll function fine for most shooters. But most of the guys that are really wanting to get long range accuracy are not satisfied with your basic factory stuff. And Hogue has really addressed that. I mean, this is an exceptional stock system. So we're going to apply this to the rifle, and we're going to get our accuracy a lot better. I'd heard so many things about this standard Hogue stock. I love the way it looks. I love the way it feels. It's very comfortable. It's very quiet. But it has always been the big thing for me to keep me from pulling the trigger on this stock system. And that's one of the great things about the full bedded stock. So I think this is going to make a huge difference. Now, the easiest way to tell if you have one of the recalled Remington 700s is the trigger. This trigger, of course, is a Timney trigger, but the original, either it's smooth, that means it's under recall. The rib trigger, there are ribs right here on the trigger, that means that it is not part of the recall. So that's a great way to tell. You can go to the Remington website and put in your serial number, and it'll tell you immediately, and it will also talk about the trigger. You send it to them, they'll fix it, and then the whole rifle, and then they'll send it back to you. Again, I just didn't want to do that, didn't want to take the expense. I'd much rather have a Timney trigger anyway, and so it just worked out well. But that is one thing you want to look for. Remington website says 7.5 pounds. I'm getting these about 8.5 pounds. The overall length is just under 40 inches, and that's not including the muzzle brake. That's really where the threads start. But really, the balance on this rifle is exceptional. You're going to have more weight because you've got this huge steel barrel on the end. That's a bull barrel. But the heavy taper is really going to stabilize your bullets. And so, that's what it's for. If you want something for hunting, then definitely get one of the shorter, the little small tapered barrels. But really, if you're looking for accuracy, this is the way to go. Now, I'm going to give you a full range report, but here we're just going to talk about a few things that I've added. We did, of course, add the Timney trigger, which proved itself very beautifully. Harris bipod. The primary arms, and this is one of their 4x14, and it's the FFP scope, and it's the ACSS reticle. This is a really nice scope system, very reasonable, and we're going to be doing a full review on it as well. The AGW mount, and then actually I just had some really good steel rings that I used. I'm going to upgrade these, but this is just what I had available. And then, of course, the head down compensator, which really made a big difference with recoil. And so this was the way it was set up at the range. But as far as accuracy goes, we were getting at 100 yards 1 inch consistently, or within the 1 inch almost every time. here, of course, I had a little bit of a flyer right here, but still these two were right together. And then again right here, these two were together. And this was actually one of the later groups that I was shooting, really getting used to the rifle and getting my accuracy down. Guys, I'm not a world-class bench shooter. You know, I'm just average, but you know, this rifle is capable of much better than this. And then when you want to upgrade, whatever upgrades you want to do with your stock, and again, we're going to be looking at some stock upgrades as well. So I think this rifle has a lot of potential. And one of the things that you need to realize, though, about the Remington is that it is a reasonably priced rifle that can really achieve great accuracy. Yes, you can get a better rifle, you can get more accuracy, especially when you get it way out to longer distances. But really, for the money, the Remington 700 to me is one of the best deals on the market. Now, one of the most important elements of achieving really good accuracy is using really good ammo. And of course, this Federal Premium, the 308, 168 grain, and this is Match King. It's the boat-tailed hollow point. This is match ammunition, and fantastic rounds. In fact, I was shooting some cheaper ammunition, some standard Fiocchi ammunition, just to kind of get myself on paper while I was sighting in my scope, and then switched to the gold match. This stuff performed fantastically. It really did tighten the group really well. And so I want to thank the guys at Federal Premium for supplying this, because this stuff is not cheap. But when you're shooting a bolt gun, you're shooting just a few rounds at a time. It really makes it nice. It's great to make every round count. And I think the Federal Premium is some of the best ammunition for the 308 on the market. Now, there are a lot of things that we're going to be doing around this rifle, because there are so many different accessories and things that you can do to upgrade the rifle to add to it. Whether it's a different stock system, your optic, the mounts, the trigger system, there are just so many things. And so really this will help build your base. If you want something with really precision accuracy, this is definitely something that, again, for not a whole lot of money, you'll really be able to build a world-class rifle. The Remington 700 SPS 308, thumbs way up. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. And then you can just return your bolts. That's not right, is it? Now, because of that, a lot of people out there now because there are rumors that this does. Okay, now because there are, so this is a much more accurate scope. I mean,